Hello everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Drinking Our Own Champagne, or How We Develop Websites here at Progress. My name is Peter Filipov and I'm developer advocate for Sitefinity. You can find me on Twitter, Peter_S_Filipov. So if you want to be updated with the latest Sitefinity news, please follow me there. I want to share with you a story what the Sitefinity web servers are doing after a busy day. Usually the Sitefinity web servers, they go out to a bar and have a drink, for example a glass of champagne. They enjoy it and after they leave. And especially after updates, when there is a hard work, the servers are following the same flow. They go out, have a drink and leave happy. But sometimes the flow is a little bit different. They go to a bar, they try to buy a drink, but the bartender doesn't give them a drink and they leave upset. So with this story it's very obvious the reason behind this, and it's because the web developer forgot to enable the cache of the web server, and that's why they weren't able to buy a drink. During the whole presentation I will try to share ups and downs in what we did in the past here at Progress, and what are the practices that we have now and how we deploy now and how we develop the websites internally. Here is our agenda for today. First, I'm going to show you some interesting statistics about our websites, how many views we have, and what is the uptime. After this, I'll go into the details how we reinvented the continuous delivery. And next will be the deployment process. And of course, monitoring and troubleshooting is something that is required for every serious development. And at the end, I'll share the performance optimizations that we do here and some general ones. So let's start. Here in this section, I'm going to show you the numbers of our views and the uptime and why this is important for us. If you see this table, you'll notice the tremendous amount of views that we have every month. The Telerik.com website is the most visited one. After this, Progress.com, NativeScript and Sitefinity. And the interesting part here is the uptime of all of those sites, and it's more than 99.9%. For our business, it's very crucial to be up all the time because we have customers in all of the time zones in the world. So it's not possible, for example, just to take down the website during the night and make some updates and start it again after an hour. This is just not possible. The funny story here is that before the acquisition of Telerik, Progress used a different CMS for their website, and once migrated it to Sitefinity, now the uptime is 100%, and I'm not kidding. This is true, and we have the data. So if someone doesn't believe this, I'll get the data to him. The next question here is what resources we have to maintain and develop those websites and the new ones that we have. So our team is from 21 people, including developers and QAs. They are delivering new features and bug fixes all the time, and we have many deployments per month, and we have more than 20 active backend users. So we are pretty busy developing our infrastructure. As I showed you the numbers, it's possible to have 100% uptime, and this is very important for businesses that are relying on Sitefinity to be assured that it's possible to use Sitefinity and have this uptime, because now it's one of the main prerequisites for a business is to be working all the time. It doesn't matter at what time during the day. About the continuous delivery setup, I'm going to cover what we did in the past, what kind of processes we have, and what we did after this to reinvent the whole continuous delivery setup. So what we did, we had telerik.com, sitefinity.com in the past, and of course we had an IT administrator who was taking care for the websites. And usually we go early in the morning with the whole development team, and we just gave to the IT administrator a little gift with features that needed to be deployed on the websites. And the process was pretty straightforward. We give the updates, but sometimes the problem was that we made some mistakes and we introduced some bugs. And what we did, when we found out that something is not working, we try to fix it again. And sometimes this leads to a chain of fixes, and it was a nightmare for the IT administrator. And he became frustrated because we were doing this all morning, update after update. The IT administrators, they become very protective, and of course they said to us that we need to come up with a list of rules and make a better process how to deploy on the websites. And this upset the developers because usually they want to do whatever they want. And what we did, we just realized that we need something that has lower risk, and we need also fast time to market. We need better quality, and we need to lower our costs, because at the beginning it was when we introduced a bug, we spent a lot of time fixing the bug, and after this all the team was there and the IT administrator was working on this, so a lot of resources were involved into the whole process. And we just realized that we need to have better products, and at the end of the day we wanted everyone to be happy, because having problems in production is very stressful for all of the team. And we all came to the conclusion that we need a continuous delivery process. We reinvented the whole concept at our own. Something that is very important for when you develop with Sitefinity is the flow of your code and the database. I always emphasize on this because the code should go from development environment to the production environment. And when we speak about the database, it should be the opposite. The database should go from production to development. That's how you can code your features against the latest state of the database. For our websites, usually we have 4 environments. The first one, it's a single machine that is used by the developers to develop the features and fix bugs. The developers are executing the tests, they are making also manual testing, etc. Everything is pretty straightforward. Once they commit their code goes to the system integration tests. It's an NLB setup with 2 nodes, and all of the tests are executed again. Once everything is fine from here, when all of the tests are executed, the code is promoted to the user acceptance test environment. It's again an NLB setup with 2 nodes. And here the stakeholders are assuring that the feature is implemented as it is. Once everyone agrees that this is the requested feature and that's what we need, the code is promoted to production. And the production setup is usually a machine. It's usually a load balancer with 2 or 4 nodes, and it has heartbeat tests that are testing all of the features on a certain period of time. So as you noticed, all of the environments except the dev one are very similar as machine setup And this is very important for us because we want to create environments that are really close to the one that is on production. Because this will help us to tackle all of the problems that can appear on the production servers. About the databases, we are making backups on each environment, and of course on production it's the most important one. We are making backups there every 15 minutes. On the UIT environment we are making backups weekly, as on the system integration test environment too. About the syncs between the databases, we are trying to do this monthly, and when the developer needs the latest state of the databases, this is done on demand. Usually when we have new big features, we try to update to have a sync between the databases, because we want to assure that everything will work on production, and this way we are going to avoid any kind of problems when the new features become live. And here I want to mention the export for deployment feature, which is introduced in Sitefinity 9.2. It helps developers to make database changes, and once the code is promoted to the different environments, those changes are applied directly to the database scheme and everything is updated. So this feature helps developers to avoid any kind of manual work of updating fields and content types manually. And usually the flow is from development to the all other environments. The whole release process needs a tool that can handle all of those operations, and we spent time to implement it. With our deployment tool, it's very easy for us to promote and to deploy different packages with different features between the environments. And only with just a click of a button, now we can promote those packages, and when we find that something is not working properly, we can easily roll back to a previous version. We highly recommend to the teams to invest some time in a similar tool, because this is going to help them a lot. Having a good continuous delivery setup and having a deployment tool, this makes our time to market very fast, and it's also error prone, because once we find out that something is not working correctly, it's easy for us to roll back to a different version or to deploy a new package with the fix. About the deployment process, I'm going to share with you how we update our production environments, because all of them are in a load balanced scenario with many servers. So how does it work? The first thing that we need to avoid is the downtime, and that's why we're using NLB setup. And we usually update each node after another until all of them are updated, and we plug the nodes into the load balancer. Also, after update, the next thing is that we need to have a great performance, and we need to warm up our feature, to warm up our pages. And we are using the warm up feature that comes with Sitefinity. And once, for example, when we have DB changes, we are using export for deployment feature. So all of those three prerequisites are coming out of the box with Sitefinity. So you can use the features to help you to have great performance and to make the whole changes possible. Here is how it works. We have an NLB setup in production, and we have 4 servers. When we want to update and deploy a new package, usually we take off the node from the load balancer, we upload the package, we start it up. When we start the node, the changes on the export for deployment changes are applied to the node, and it's warmed up after this with the feature, and we are ready to go. The node is included again in the NLB setup, and this is done for all the nodes from the load balancer. That's how our production environment is updated. About the continuous delivery setup, when we have load balancer, we need to be sure that the code is the same on all of the machines. And something that is very important is that we need to restore our databases and to code our features again the latest version from production. And when you want to have high uptime, we recommend to use an NLB setup, because having a lot of nodes, you can easily update one after another, and when you have spike in the traffic, it's easily handled. The warm-up tool is very useful, because when a server is updated or restarted, it keeps your pages precompiled. And again, the export for the deployment feature is very useful when you want to have DB changes to all of the environments, and those changes are done through the code and they're not done manually. The benefit of the deployment process is that we have high availability. The monitoring and the troubleshooting is very important when you have many environments and you want to be sure that everything is working fine during the whole process, because sometimes it's not enough to have the website running. You need to test your features that are running 24/7. For example, we have heartbeat tests that are running with Jenkins and our Test Studio. Test Studio is another product from our portfolio, and those heartbeat tests are testing specific features of the website, that how they are working. For example, the authentication and the downloads. It's very important for us as a company, all of the downloads to be working all the time. Also, we are using Pingdom to request a specific web pages, and we are looking for a specific response in their bodies and for specific text, for example. This way we are sure that the page not only it's returning 200 OK status, but we are sure that everything on the page is loaded properly. With Pingdom, it's possible to see what's going on the website, from where the requests are coming, and it provides more useful information to make different conclusions about the traffic of your users. Our websites are having tremendous amount of visits every month, and we are using Zabbix to monitor what's going on with the servers and how they are working, because for us it's crucial those servers to be up all the time, and we cannot afford some of the servers to go down. And here are some graphics about all of the 4 nodes that are in production. When you have so many users, visits, etc., errors are coming, and the data logs are very long. And here we use Elasticstack to visualize the errors and to figure out what's going on, what are the error messages, and how we can tackle them better. With the monitoring and troubleshooting, we can find the bottlenecks and also test the features, because for us it's not only the site that it's live, but we need to assure that the features are working all the time. So in this section I'm going to share with you about how we make optimizations and how they help us between the websites, and also some specifics between all the Progress websites. First, we are using CDN for our libraries, and we are using, of course, page warm-ups after every upload or restart. And here the interesting part is that we are using CDN for our CSS and JavaScript files, and also we have some conventions because our websites are sharing some of the CSS and the JavaScript, so it's very useful for us to have a specific CDN for them. And we are making optimizations on the image uploads. Also, having many people working on the backend and generating articles, one of the common problems is that they are uploading images that are 15 megabytes, for example, and we are using Kraken.io. We optimize those images as in regards of size. This sample is on GitHub, so you can find it there. Along with the performance optimizations that we are doing internally, I want to share some general guidelines with you. The first one is that we also have health check support. It means that from a third-party app, you can make calls and see if the website is started, if the database is running, and etc. So this is a built-in functionality in Sitefinity. I would say that we highly recommend to people to use version 10, at least version 10.1, because many performance optimization are coming with this version. The startup time is cut on half. We also published recently a separate webinar only on performance, so if you are interested, you can go and watch it. With the storage mode set to auto and in combination with read only, you can make configurations between all of the environments only with package deploys without going to the admin settings and changing something manually. And using the read only mode, it disables the administrative the admin settings in the backend, so no one can change them manually. The export for deployment, it's very useful for developers when they want to make DB changes, and they are automatically applied to the different environments without the need of going and changing the content types from the backend manually. Because of the storage mode and export for deployment, we recommend site sync to be used only for content sync. The add-ons, with the add-ons you can have one implementation across different instances. So if you have sites that are having similar functionalities and you want to share the functionality between them, just use the add-ons, implement it once and just distribute it across the websites. What we cover today is that 100% uptime is possible. Also, having a good continuous delivery will make you your time to market faster. Investing in deployment too will make your availability much higher and will make all of the process of the deployment much easier. Using different tools to monitor and troubleshoot will make your life much easier. And of course, you need to be sure that everything is fully optimized to bring the better experience for your customers. That's all from my side. Thank you for joining today's webinar, Drinking Our Own Champagne, or How We Develop Websites here at Progress.